Good morning, all. Once again, can you hear me? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just played the music, and as the music says, this chapter is also about our childhood. That's why I played that early in the morning. That is really melodic music, and it takes us back to our childhood. That's why also I wanted to play that. Today, let's talk about our childhood, especially our childhood is not always full of happy memories that can have some sort of uh, sad or miserable memories also. And today also we are going to talk about punishment. You get here, punishment in kindergarten in our childhood. You might have this type of memory as well. Do you have? Maybe your parents, maybe your teachers, they might have punished you, and you can still recall that, right? I can still recall because in our society, teacher, especially in the past, not now, they used to punish. Still, some sort of practice. This type of practices are there. You can see. So this poem is also uh, regarding the punishment we get in our childhood. You can see the picture here. As I played, I want to draw your attention toward the fond memory, happy memories of our childhood. You can see children playing, hanging on the branch of tree. In the next picture, you can see they are maybe running one after another. They are playing something. And in the third picture, you can see flying the kite. But there are other two pictures. These two pictures show that children are in trouble. The first one, maybe teacher, maybe mother, she's scolding small kids. In the last picture, you can see a child is in some sort of sadness. So there are more happy pictures than sad one. And today's poem also will be on this theme particularly, punishment. See the writer, she's Indian writer, Kamala Das, Kamala Surya. She is for her short stories and autobiographies. Moreover, she is a columnist also. Columnist means writing article for newspaper or magazine. Especially her writing used to concentrate on women issues, child care, politics, and other. You can see one highlighted word, iconoclast. She used to protest against the established system, culture, tradition, or that sort of practice, maybe political and social, etc. So, woman writer from the point of view of female also, but especially in this poem, she talks about how children were punished in the past or are punished in our society, even though they are dedicated, dedicated or they are innocent. They don't have lots of idea about this. She wants to recall her own story when she was punished. This means look at the introductory part. In the poem Punishment in Kindergarten, Kamala Das memorizes a childhood experience that was quite painful for her. Maybe we are too much conscious in our childhood. If we are scolded, if we are bitten, if we were humiliated, then we would feel too much sad, depressed. So she is also recalling her own past. That means Then she was scolded by her teacher for being alone, and her schoolmates also laughed at her. That made her. At the time, when she was in kindergarten, once her teacher scolded her, that means, as she was living alone. And when she was scolded, all her mates, classmates, that means, they laugh at her. At the time, she felt nervous also. She felt sad also. This poem has been divided into three parts. It has three parts. In the first part, the poet discusses how her teacher scolded her. One. In the second part, she memorizes her schoolmates laughing, her making her weep. And in the final part, she says that being an adult, there is no need for her to memorize this experience. So, one part, first part, scolding by teacher. Second part, crying because of maid's laughter. The last one, she doesn't want to remember the incident. These are the three subparts in this poem. Let's see difficult words. Mirth, laughter, merriment. Mere, my own. She is in control of her own life. Mere, my own. Muffled, not laugh, not loud or clear. It means vague, unclear, you can say. Next one is peculiar. It's called odd or strange. To drain means to empty. Khali garnu in Nepali. With the two, it's laughing there, smiling there. I have put here link also, that music, link of that music I played earlier. The theme, as I said earlier, is based on childhood memories, especially frightening memories, scaring memories. It's not about fond memories. I've written here fond or frightening. It's a frightening or scaring memory. That's why. Or next one, you can say how children are punished in the East. For example, in Asia, we have traditional teaching system where teacher is all in all and teacher can punish students. So it also carries that. And generally, for the painful memory. Okay, look at here that poem. Let me talk about this stanza wise. Punishment in kindergarten. Today, the world is a little more my own. It means she is free now. She is mature. She has her own world now. But in the past, when she was small kid, it was different. No need to remember the pain. It means in the first stanza, even in the first line, she says that she wants to forget that incident, the pain. Which pain? Look at here. A blue fork woman cause words at me like pots and pan to drain that honey-colored day of feast. What was that? Why didn't you join the other? What a peculiar child you are. It means a woman, her teacher, who was in blue frock, skirt, that means she was throwing words like pot and pans very quickly and very harsh also. And it was spoiling her honey colored day of peace, that beautiful honey color of honey, you can say, right? Day of peace. You know, you can recall the time of childhood. We don't have too much worries. We are not too much concerned with the thing outside, and generally we feel everything beautiful, and we are hopeful, we are optimistic then. So it was such a beautiful day for her, or golden phase of her life. But a teacher wearing blue frock scolded her bitterly, that means, and she was spoiling, that teacher was spoiling her good childhood days. And teacher said, why don't you join other? Why don't you play with other? Are you with your friend? Why don't you sit with your friends? Why don't you talk to your friends? That means, why don't you join other? What a peculiar child you are. What a different child, strange child you are. The teacher said. That was the incident. This is the crux of the poem. She says, one of her teacher asked her to join friends, to talk to friends, to live with friends. And not only that, the saying was rude. It was not common. That's why the words of the teacher hurt her. That is the thing. See the next stanza. On the lawn, garden, in cluster, in group, at my schoolmates, they turned and laughed. When the teacher said that, you know that this happened in our classroom also. When somebody is scolded by teacher, all the class, they begin laughing. It happens. So the same thing happened in our class also. On the lawn here, they were in the lawn. It was in the picnic, not in the classroom. That's why. On the lawn, in cluster, in groups, they were in groups. All the mates were in groups. Sat my schoolmates, sipping sugar cans. They were chewing sugar can. Uhu. They turned and laughed, right? When they heard teacher scolding this writer, this persona, what happened? All the schoolmates, all the classmates, they began laughing. They turned and laughed. Children are funny things. They laugh in mirth at others' tear, right? They laugh in mirth. They make fun of others. Even at the time of tears, that means children are funny, right? It is not wise. It is not good to laugh when somebody is in tear. But the same thing was there, happened. It happens everywhere, not in our country, everywhere. I buried my face. Buried means hide, cover. I cover my face in the sun-warm haze. Haze means small bush. She was in the garden. They were in the garden. That means I buried, I hid, I covered my face going into the haze. That means it was sunny outside. She went to the haze, small bush, and she covered her face. Generally, a child does this. And smelled the flower and the pen, right? It was garden. It was the haze of flowers. That's why she felt flowers also and pen. Remember this. The pen is a good master, is experience, right? It teaches us lots of things. So she also learned maybe something. Flower means not only flowers of the garden, right? We do that. We are said that medicine is bitter, right? It is sour, it is bitter. Likewise, as the teacher said this, she got two feelings. Feeling of flower, beautifully smell, or learning, it can be learning, and pain also. She was heard by the words of teacher. It is also said that words are sharper than swords. Barbar भन्दा पनि word चाहिँ के हुन्छ, sharper हुन्छ अरे. It is said that. So she felt two things at a time. Pleasure also, and pain also. Learning also, pain also, not pleasure at all, right? So see the next one, next stanza. The words are muffled now. The laughing face only a blur, right? The words are muffled, blurred here also. Very low, right? I said you can see the word muffle, see muffle, muffle, not clear, right? Vague. The words are muffled now. And the laughing face is only a blur. It means right now she can hardly recall this. She has almost forgotten the harsh word of the teacher, bad words of the teacher, scolding of the teacher, and she has almost forgotten what faces of our friends also, because I can hardly recall my childhood friend right now. And even though we recall, we can hardly talk as we used to talk in the past. So there are no more friends right now. That means the laughing face is only a blur. She has forgotten her friend. Almost she has forgotten. She can really recall their faces. The years have speed along, stopping briefly at beloved halt and moving sadly on. Right? Here have sped along. Time has elapsed, passed, but stopping briefly at beloved halt. Right? We sometimes recall our childhood. It is beloved. We love our childhood memories. But what happens? Beloved halt is there, right? It stops and moving sadly on. And when she recalls that particular day, maybe she has lots of fond memories of her childhood, but that particular day when she was scolded by teacher, it was what? Sad day. Beloved halts. It means halt means stop and move sadly on. And she wants to skip this. She wants to go ahead. She doesn't want to recall. That means my mind has found an adult peace. Right now, I'm adult. She's in adult peace, right? So she wants to forget that. No need to remember that picnic day, right? As I said, they were in picnic. Remember that picnic day, you can see capital T, that picnic day when I lay hidden by a haze, right? She has hidden herself in a haze, in a bush, in the under the tree of flowers. That means on that particular day, on the picnic day. That means so watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. She was lonely watching the sun. She compared suns with still white, right? It was shining on above her head, and she was alone there, right? So it means she was thinking of beautiful parts of her life. She was waiting for beautiful part of life, that is adulthood, not the childhood. That day of childhood, especially. So here is the sun. She was looking sun means her face was gloomy. She was sad. That's why she wanted to forget that day, that shadow part of her day, sad part of her day, dark part of her day. So that's why she was looking at sun, which was white, still white. This is the interpretation, my interpretation. Let's see summary. Again, I will make you clear. Punishment in Kindergarten is a little autobiographical poem. Biographical means written by the poet herself, and it is about her own life. That's why it is called autobiographical. By famous Indian Anglian poet Kamala Das. She recalls, she used to write in English, right? She recalls one of her childhood experiences. When she was in kindergarten, one day the children were taken for a picnic. All the children except her were playing and making merry. Happy moment. That means, but she alone kept away from the company of the children. The teacher, a blue-frocked woman, scolded her, saying, "Why didn't you join the other? What a peculiar child you are." That was the sad moment in her life. What happened then? The next stanza. This heard all the other children who were sipping sugar cane turned and laughed. The child felt it very much. This writer, that means, she became sad at the words of the teacher, but the laughter by the children made her sadder. She thought that they should have consoled her, sadbhav dekhaunu, console, samjhaunu, right? Her, rather than laughing and insulting her. Filled with sorrow and shame. Shame means loss, right? Sorrow and shame. She did her face in a haze. She hid her face in haze and wept. This was indeed a painful experience to a little child in the nursery school. Painful. There are two things, or two activities that made her very sad. One was scolding of teacher, and the another was the laughter of her mates, friends. Because of these two activities, she was very sad. And now, after many years, she has grown into an adult. She has only a faint memory of blue-frocked woman and the laughing faces of children. Now she has learned to have an adult peace and happiness in her present state as a grown-up person. Now, there is no need for her to be perturbed about the bitter kindergarten experience. With her long experience in life, she has learned that life is mixtures of joy and sorrow. She remembers how she has experienced both joy and sorrow of her life. The long passage of time has taught her many things. She is no more a lonely individual as she used to feel when she was a child. The poet comes to a conclusion that there is no need for her to remember that picnic day when she hid her face in the haze, watching the still white sun that was standing alone, lonely in the sky. Right? See, this message also, it wants to convey that life is full of what? Joy and sorrow. Even in childhood, even in adulthood, and even in old age, doesn't matter. All the time, even a single day, it is full of joy and sorrow. But we have to overcome it. As I said yesterday, joy and sorrow means vicissitude, and stamina to tolerate it is perseverance. We need to have this. So, this is the summary. You can zoom my video and you can read analysis part. I've analyzed many times. It would be boring for you if I repeat the same thing. You zoom this and you can read analysis. This is one. Only one piece is there, right? And before I say thank you, if you have any question, please let me know. Remember this autobiographical poem written by Kamala Das, and it tells us that how children used to be punished in the past. Furthermore, she is talking about psychological influence in the mind of children if he or she is punished as she felt. We all need to be a teacher, right? And we are somehow, or we will be parents as well, if we punish our children in front of mass, especially. Punishment as a whole and punishment in the mass will be byproductive. It will have negative consequences in the mind of children. That is another message. And she felt the same thing. Once in the mass, teacher scolded her. Second is a nature children, not only children, adult also. When somebody are in problem or in tears, they laugh. The same thing happened in the story. These two moments, incident made her very sad. That's why she wanted to forget that picnic day when she was scolded by teacher and her mates laughed at her when she was at tears. And the last message the poet wants to convey is that our childhood, not only childhood, all the parts of lives are full of joy and sorrows. That means vicissitude, problems, ups and downs, and we need to have stamina to overcome this. Although we want to forget our sad memories, it comes, it pops up, but we need to forget that sort of sad memories and we have to move ahead. I again summarize this. I would like to say thank you.